welcome to my first solo video, I suppose. Obviously, welcome to Bloggy Voice. First, before I go too far, we have that, just so no one gets too cranky at me. Before we get into all this stuff, you probably can pause it and read it and whatever else. Before we get started, let's dedicate this video to two assholes who decided to call me out because I didn't upload a video when I promised to. I was on holiday, fuck you both. You know who you are. Right, so, as we said last week, I decided that I was going to do a video about, if I can get it to work, these thingies, tampons and pads. Yeah, that sounds about right. It's weird as fuck, but you know what we're like. Alrighty, so, like I said, brought these up. Now, this video, this idea, opinion, thing, whatever, it came about when there was talk a couple of years ago about removing the tax on tampons and pads and all that, which they've done, I think, this year or last year or whatever. And, you know, kudos to them, all well and good. However, it got me thinking, why aren't these a tax deductible, or other various female sanitary products that they, required to use? And, well, not required, but more advisable to use. Because if you go here, I was thinking you could claim them as that. Personal protective equipment. I know it might sound a bit dicky and weird and ignorant from a male perspective, but I don't care. This is just an opinion-based crap, so I don't care. Now, there was such thing as, here we go, so that was the one I was looking at, skin protection, such as gloves, gauntlets, and sunscreen, which is, that's the generic thing for PPE. It can include this stuff, but not limited to it. It's also, as a last resort, short-term measure as a more effective way of controlling it, which it's a last resort. There's no better way at the moment as far as I can tell. And, so had a look at all that and thought that was the way to go, because if you look into this stuff a bit more, you can go to the website, it's all up there, and you find that, they have definitions of what, is a risk and all that kind of stuff. And if you look into this, a biological substance, now again, this might not be completely accurate, but according to the cancer research, biological substances include any material that contain or are reasonably expected to contain a microorganism, such as bacteria, viruses, that word, parasites or fungi, or other agents that can cause disease in humans or animals. Now, blood's gonna do that. If you get someone else's blood into a cut of your own, or onto some abrasion or something like that, odds are you're gonna get an infection. It's just the way it is. Human blood doesn't mix in unless you do a whole blood type thing and all the rest of it and all that kind of cleaning stuff. Or you go into the biological hazard, which biological hazards, also known as biohazards, refer to biological substance that pose a threat to the health of the organisms, primarily that of humans. This includes samples of microorganisms, viruses, toxins that affect human health. Basically the same thing as a biological substance. Same crap, basically. So, yeah, if you're working, you should be able to claim, these as a personal protective equipment. Because, now, I don't know exactly how often they get used or all this kind of stuff, but I did a little bit of Google searching, and I came up with some random figures, which I'll try and figure out, which if we look at, let's just assume $15 each time, like once a month, so that's 15 times 12. Let's just assume this is assumptions, so $15 times 12 months out of the year, $180 a year. Is that right? $15 times 12? Yep, okay, fair enough, like that. $180 a year. Now let's assume, again, a general assumption, you get your period and all that at around the age of 15. It doesn't stop until you hit menopause or even later, so let's easy numbers, 15 to 50. Let's just assume that's the time period. So that's 35 years. Times that number by 35, and you end up spending about $6,300 on tampons, pads, and other various ones. This is, again, assumptions and generalizations, but that's the way to go. So I don't see why you can't claim it on tax. Again, as I said, just opinions. You got any ideas? Or I have been told, though, that you're not meant to be able to claim anything that's had tax removed off it, and Kane's trying to be very quiet there so he doesn't disturb the video. It's this side, he's mouthing crap at me.
Howdy diddle.
That was a terrible bloody Flanders impersonation. Anyway, did you not know who that was from? Again, this is why Blogger's Voice has now become a solo act. Anyway, as I was saying, this is just generalizations and assumptions and stuff like that I've come up with, and opinions and stuff. So yeah, the opinion basically, as I've reiterated a few times, is that you could make the argument that you could, if you're working, claim personal protective, well, tampons and pads as personal protective equipment, because why not? You're essentially you're protecting yourself in terms of if you weren't wearing one and you had your period, the blood that comes out, it'd be sitting in your underpants or running down your leg all bloody day, and that's just no one would like the feeling of that. It would be disgusting, and it could cause you, irritation and all sorts of other nasty problems. Let's say you had some chafing and then the blood got into that, it'd probably cause a bit of fucking God knows what, because two different blood types and stuff like that. Well, not blood types, but different. What's the word I'm trying to look for? The blood that comes out in a menstrual cycle is not exactly going to be the exact same blood that comes out, because it's got all the extra hormonal lining and stuff like that with it. Anyway, you know what I mean. So you should be able to, I think, claim it. They'd have to come up with some sort of generalised way of doing it, but I think they should be able to do it, and you should make the argument with your accountant. Give it a whirl, see what they say, because the worst they're going to say is no, at best, yes. And if you've spent the $180 that I worked out before, you've netted yourself an extra $180. If that's how much you've spent, I don't know exactly. Anyway, work it out with your accountant and receipts and all the rest of it. But that's about it for the day. That's just my personal view on the matter. I think it should be able to be classed as personal protective equipment if you so chose. If you didn't, well, that's your choice. And as I had in my little warning, I did have this for you. If you didn't like any of the content in this, feel free to find this on Google. I believe this one I got from just a random Google search that leads to some Reddit post by some person, Daniel someone. Figure it out. Google will show you. Feel free to download it, fill it out, and like I said, I'll get to it if I remember, and if not, then tough shit. But I think that's all from me. Have fun, good night, and adios.